Well, hi and welcome to Glitch 2600. Who am I? I'm Brian, aka Glitch, your friendly host through all things geekery. And geekery are all those fun toys you have, whether it's a tablet, a mobile phone, computers, you want to know about security, you want to know about photography, videography. If it has electronics, then it's geekery, and I probably play with it, along with all sorts of other fun geek topics. And you are here for part of Vlogmas 2020 and our Glitch Bytes, more specifically. And Vlogmas 2020 is just a way for us content creators to create something new for you every day in December. Technically, it's through Christmas, but we're going all the way through. In fact, I'm probably still going to do one tomorrow. And a Glitch Byte are just those tips and tricks you can normally consume in under 15 minutes. So today, though, I want to wish you all Happy New Year's Eve for the dumpster fire that is 2020. And let's hope 2021 just brings along the zombie apocalypse and other fun events. But aside from that, welcome. I hope your, New Year's Eve is going a little bit better than the rest of the year has, and that you'll have a great New Year's. And having said that, we want to recap a little bit of what we've covered for all of Vlogmas so that there's no tips that were missed and how to get to those tips and tricks areas. And then I also want to talk a little bit about what I think might be happening in the future for the channel, and would love your impact if you think it would be something neat to start doing and adding. So first things first, I'm going to pop on over to this interface just to show you, because the first view we didn't have a whole lot of graphics. So here you can kind of see this is our YouTube channel, which we'll talk about how to get there towards the end. And under the description of this, if you're already here, is a link to our Vlogmas 2020 playlist, and then a link to our Glitch Bytes playlist, which, like I said, those bytes will keep going after this. Vlogmas, it just won't be every day. But having said that, day one is just a recap of what Vlogmas 2020 is. Day two, we talked about Apple Watch quick replies. So how you can quickly reply on your Apple Watch by pre-building in some responses so that when it's smart and comes up, you can just tap one. There's some already built in, but I show you how to edit and add more to it. And then day three, we talked about some added hidden Apple functions where you can use the back tap on your phone to have it do other things. So when you tap twice or tap 3 times on the back, you can have it do other functions. In fact, kick off full shortcuts like where's the nearest coffee house? You can have it do that. Heck, you can have it look for where the nearest brewery is if that's what you're into. And then we talk about the attention aware features and how sometimes that can trip you up and how it can be a cool feature. On day 4, we talked about USB speeds and identifying USB cables. That could be a big difference if you're expecting USB 3-like speeds, but you're using a USB 1 or 2 cable. Well, then you're not going to get USB 3 speeds. And so we show you how to tell the difference between those. Unfortunately, there's not a great way to tell a difference between a USB 1 and 2, but nowadays, seeing a USB 1 is very, very rare. But then we talk about C and Thunderbolt and why that's important. In fact, you can see on the side, one of my subscriptions is Doc Rock, and he does a great review on one of them where he shows the speed differences using a Thunderbolt dock over USB-C, which they look like the same plugin. It's just a different type of bus. But having said that, we moved on to how to make interesting backgrounds and get more out of your lights for photography. So that one's more photography based. So we talk about using gels, and we talk about using plexi mirrors to create more light. How you can turn one light into 2, 3, because a mirror reflects almost 100% of what gets to it. You have the inverse square for distance and a bunch of other stuff, but generally you're adding one light when you do that, and you can add dynamics with gels and other cool tricks. So we talk about that there. And then, I did not know I could do that. Nice. On day 6, we talk about cable management and little tricks for that. And so that's the gist of that one. And then what we're going to talk about next is the next few days, which I can at least now show you a cool graphic for each one. You might notice this. It was at the beginning, and this is when we started using our graphics tools. So on day 7, we talked about mobile device keyboard typing speed hack. So basically, we talked about using the keyboard replacement tools, built into your iPhone, and there are such things on the Android too, to be able to do things like C exclamation point, and as soon as you type that, you can automatically type confidential, so you don't have to type all that out. Or have it do a whole phrase, like the whole see you later. You can actually type the CYL, have it spell it out for you. So I show you how to do that on day 7. Day 8, we talked about how to optimize and speed up your Mac and clean it up a little bit using a free tool called Onyx. And so when you go there, there'll be a link underneath where we say how to get there and all that fun stuff, but using Titanium software is free. We show you that and talk about the settings you may or may not want to turn on. On day 9, we talked about updating and protecting your wireless router, which is important going into the new year. What better time to start thinking about backups, cleanups, and all that fun stuff than right now? Technically probably not today. You're probably going to go out and party, but when you're slightly hungover or taking care of stuff over this weekend, why not start that tomorrow? So we talk about how to get into your wireless router, how to find the address to get in there, and then how to back up, update, and change your password. On day 10, we talk about securing your password or doing better security or password management with 1Password. That's the one I choose and prefer to use, but I show you how to quickly be able to update and get unique passwords on each website, but not lose your, arcane mind, by, having a different password on each website. You definitely want that from a security point of view, but I tell you how you can use 1Password where you unlock it with 1Password, and it will fill in those multiple different passwords for you on each site. And it works on your mobile device, Android, PC, Mac, iPhone, all of them. Heck, there's even a thing for your Apple Watch on there. So good way to keep the combination to your gym lock is by putting in 1Password and having it go to your Apple Watch. So when you're done working out, you can remember your code to get in, especially if it's a new lock. On day 11, we talk about layering and transparency for images using Photoshop, but you can use the same type of information for Canva or other tools that are out there, any one of them that work off that transparency layer. It comes back a little bit later when we talk about another Glitch Byte later in the month where we're using green screen and iPad, and I use Adobe Fresco to do layers there, which is a free tool. But anytime you're using layers, you can mess with transparency and use those differently for your live stream or any number of edits. On day 12, we did an on location at Wine Styles in West Des Moines, Iowa, where we talked about using virtual audio devices with loopback into Zoom. So I know live streaming pros covered a little bit of Zoom today, but I also broke down with mine what I had to do to get my audio working two-way for that. There's some tricks if you don't need the audio two-way. If you don't need audio from inside of Ecamm to go into it, you can just hook up your mic separately. But if you want to have two-way audio in through your Ecamm in Zoom, that's how you can do it. And it doesn't have to just be Ecamm. You can use other tools. Loopback is extremely powerful to make virtual audio devices. On day 13, we started our discussion on making, or basically on backups, but making disk backups with SuperDuper. So how to take a clone of your hard drive and clone it into a disk image or between hard drive to hard drive so you have a good backup of those hard drive images. On day 14, we took a break and talked about MultiFactor and TwoFactor authentication and why you might want to turn that on and what it is and the downsides, the upsides. So we talk about that on day 14. Day 15, we did another recap because I was obviously tired that day. I'm not going to lie. I just didn't have any thoughts. On day 16, we talk about the Notes app in your iPhone and some of the secrets you might not know. How you can share stuff out, how you can do jots in there, how you can use it to make a grocery list. All sorts of really fun, cool tools in there. Day 17, we added back to our backup conversation because we bring these all together later about how to synchronize your files using the power of Chronosync. Now, if you're on a PC, you can use different rsync type capabilities. You can use PowerShell. You can do all sorts of different things there. There's lots of different synchronization tools. I just like Chronosync for the Mac. because it allows me, and you can use rsync and other things on the Mac that are free. I like Chronosync because it can have an agent and I can have it go between computers. So it was a good way for me to bring all my backups into one area and only have to pay for backing up one computer, which is what we end up talking about later. But as part of that, let's say you have some old hard drives, some old external hard drives that you thought were bad. I took apart this one, as you can see, to recover it, because come to find out, it was just a little adapter. I thought I had it right here. A little adapter on the back that died wherever I set it. And so it wasn't that that enclosure itself was bad, and you can buy enclosures for 20 bucks. So, you know, sometimes that, you know, dead external hard drive isn't really dead. It's a lot of times just the interface. So you can just get a new enclosure, put the hard drive in it, and be good to go. And then I talk about some other old school tricks. If it's a spinning disk hard drive, how to recover it without spending $300 if it is the hard drive. On day 19, we talked about how to back up everything securely online with Backblaze and a little code to get you free 30 days. But that's where we bring around our Chronosync conversation. We bring around SuperDuper and show you how to back up all your files and then do it cheaply by not having to run it on every single computer, but run it on one, because you have now the hard drive images from your other computers on your network, and you're syncing the data to one external hard drive or one set of hard drives. Because the nice thing about Backblaze is that you can back up any number of external hard drives. You just can't do network hard drives. So it doesn't work that way. It has to be able to plug into the computer. And then I show you tips and tricks on ways that you can do that and make it secure. I love it because there's versioning, and I've gone back multiple versions, multiple months when things were broke, and was able to bring back files. So when I overwrote a Word file, I had like 30 different versions of it that it remembered over all the years of different changes I made. So in case I made a change on Monday, made another change on Tuesday, and then made another change Thursday, and then Friday realized I really needed Monday's changes, I could do that. In fact, I could go, I need Monday's changes, but part of Thursday's. I can recover those two files and then merge them together. And that's what we talk about there. On day 20, we took a break and had a happy hour. And we do that from time to time on the channel. And so we covered craft beer and geeked out on that. On day 21, we just talked about what I just said, bringing it all together for a full backup solution. So bringing all those tools, as I already mentioned, together to make sure your world is backed up and secure, because what better time to think about that than in the new year and going forward. So day 21, we talked about using timers to supercharge your scenes in Ecamm Live, how you can set up transparent timers, have it switch scenes for you, how you can do lots of stuff, bring up a countdown, have a countdown to Christmas, have a countdown to New Year's. In fact, if I was really smart, I would have just popped up the countdown timer for New Year's and put that on the side. I could create that live if we wanted to, but you know, we're going to keep this short and it's already going long. So day 23, we talked about organizing and exporting your scenes in Ecamm, how you can use folders, how you can back them up and bring them back in. Day 24, camera overlay tips and creativity. So if you don't know and have not used the camera overlay feature, use it and what you can do with that. So we go into more depth there. So you don't need me to say a whole lot. That explains itself, hopefully. Day 25, we talked about the text overlay version of that. Tips and tricks and what you can do with text and get your formatting and all that working better, how you can use your color swatches, how to create color swatches, all of that. Day 26, this one was cool because a lot of people keep asking, how do you use a GoPro for live streaming? Right now I'm using the Sony a6100, but my backup and secondary camera is the GoPro. And for a long time, that was my main camera going into a Cam Link or into my ATEM. So I use a GoPro Hero 8, but I've used lots of different models. And I talk about the hardware that you need in part 1 and a few things there. Because then in part 2, we continue that and talk about software settings and things you might want to change inside, like voice control, so that you don't on accident kick stuff off when you say GoPro video. It doesn't start trying to record a video while you're live streaming and screw everything up. On day 28, we talk about using your iPad to live draw on the screen, much like if you were Madden and commenting on whatever, or you're trying fun, cool things over the top of yourself. Learn how to use the green screen function and draw with your iPad. Essentially, you can do it with anything you can bring in via camera. that has touch capabilities. You can use a touch laptop to do the same type of stuff. Heck, I mean, there's lots of ways you can do that. You can use it as another screen and use a Wacom tablet. As long as it's drawing on a green overlay and you're using NDI, you can use the same concept outside of the iPad. Now that I'm thinking of it. So day 29, we talked about how to display your Android screen wirelessly. I didn't want everyone to think I only talk on Apple. I went ahead, ran out, picked up an Android tablet, and started teaching myself how to bring that in. And eventually we'll talk about the wiring and different capabilities to wire it in. But I showed you how you can use reflector and mirrorcast type technology or SmartCast, even for your Apple devices, to bring them in as NDI sources and mess around with that and have them live in your Ecamm, OBS, whatever screen you're using. And then on day 30, we went over how to create a USB boot disk or any type of boot disk, ISO, to install Windows 10. So that, again, we're not just talking Mac. There is some PC. We cover that. I'm Microsoft certified, so why don't we cover that also? But I talk about how you can do that and use it for making virtuals on your Macs, or boot camp, or to install on a new laptop, or if you had a hard drive crash, lots of different things there. So that's what we talked about. And really, that brought us around to today, where we recapped again. And we're going to keep doing this going forward. We're going to keep having those glitch bites. Vlogmas was just a thing I've been talking about for almost a year, that we're going to have more glitch bites. And finally, it was my spur that I needed to do it. So having said that, I do plan on keeping it going. I'm still deciding on whether it's just going to be once a week or twice a week as a minimum. Doesn't mean we won't do 2 or 3 some weeks, but as a minimum, I'm thinking at least every Thursday. Give you a day you can count on and know those glitch bites are coming out. If there's a day you think would be better, let me know, because I would be happy to try to do those and keep them going live so you can join in on them. Again, another thing is our geek outs. We do those live quick Q&A, so where you can jump in, ask whatever geek questions you want, and I will answer them live on the air. And so if I don't know the answer, I will go back and find it. You can email them ahead of time. I have email questions, everything through our channel. But that's what our geek outs will keep going. And we're going to still deciding on whether that's going to be weekly or every 2 weeks. Really, I'd like to keep it weekly if we can, so we at least have 2 things every week. And then we currently do a happy hour, and I'm deciding whether that's going to split off to its own channel or whether we just back that off to once every 2 weeks or once a month and just kind of geek out on craft beer where everyone can join in and we go from there. I'd love to know you guys' opinion. Comment and let me know on this video, whether it's on Facebook or YouTube, which reminds me, if you want to subscribe, please subscribe. Use this link down below, or hover over that QR code with your smartphone. If you're on a laptop, you can just hold that up with your tablet or whichever, open up your camera app, hover over it, and it'll go, hey, do you want to open up this link? And you'll say, yep. And then you click that button, click the bell, and it will tell you then when I'm going live, and we'll let you know when we schedule those. You can also still join us on Facebook. But that's where I'd love for you guys to comment on either of those 2 spots and let me know if there's days, times, and what you think, if there's more stuff we could be doing for you. Because the other part that we're working on is I'm still working on the live phone call. So where you can talk to us live on those geek outs and get your answers on there via phone, where there'll be a phone number you can call. Still working on that, and I've got a pretty good plan on pulling that off. The other thing that we'll be working on and in very early stages talking on is being more of a phone geek for if you need consulting. So getting our webpage up and running, this stuff will all still keep being free and all that. But if you need more personal one-on-one and really don't want to do this on live, these are the consultings where I can do this remotely and for a small hourly rate or a project-based fee, still working that out. You'll be able to basically have a geek on hand that we'll be able to take you through. I've got all the certifications and about everything you can think on and degrees to match. So I'll be able to help you with your problem. And if you need that one-on-one and need to be able to hand it off a little bit, that's where we can Zoom, use other means to remote screen share and talk about what you have going on and help you assess. If you're a small business and need to know which type of hardware to get, that's something where we can talk about that there too. you're still more than welcome to post those on Geek Outs. We talk about them. It's just another way that if you want that one-on-one, that we plan on that going forward. If you think that would be really cool, then let us know. Comment yes, yes, that's cool. Yes, consulting. Doesn't mean I'm going to message you or anything like that because we're not even ready. But it is just letting me know if we're moving in that right direction. But having said that, I've had a great time doing Vlogmas. It really did help spur and keep me going for it and help me improve the channel. So I thank the guys at Let's Get Live, Doc Rock and all the other fun guys there that have helped push me to do a little bit more with my channel. You'll see this grow and do hopefully amazing things and more focused. And the guys the girls and guys at Live Streaming Pros also, as we've continued through. And I plan on just keeping upping that game. So again, thank you. Have a happy New Year's Eve, again, for this dumpster fire of a year, and an even better New Year. I expect great things for all of you, expect great things for myself, and we'll see you again tomorrow. Bye.